when you're coding, if you don't remember to go and click that button because you're actually coding and not focused on other stuff, it'll do that automatic detection for you and just eliminate distractions at the right moment for when you need it.
Welcome to Powered by Snowflake, where I interview technology leaders building businesses and applications on Snowflake. I'm your host, Daniel Myers, and today I'm talking with Mason McLead, CTO of Software.com. Software.com is a DevOps Metrics Platform. Mason, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So I really want to dive in here and learn more about you, your background, and what exactly is Software.com.
Sure. Yeah. So as you introed, my name's Mason. I'm CTO at Software.com. We're a DevOps metrics platform. Basically what that means is we look at all the data that's coming through the tools that you use as a software team to build your products and look at where your bottlenecks are, allow you to see where certain processes aren't working as well as you would want, and give you tools and information to go and fix that and improve it over time so that your entire organization can work more efficiently. And I always think that a more efficient system makes for happier and more productive developers.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me about the history of Software.com. When was it founded, and and where are you today?
Yeah, so it was actually founded in 2018, and it had a very specific focus on building tools for developers as editor extensions. So we take telemetry from the actual editor itself and give you back time reports and activity levels and all sorts of really interesting data that individuals can use to help their own productivity. And what we've done over the years is expand that into organization-wide metrics, pulling in from system-wide tools that allow you to see the full picture, as well as power automations and features for individual developers to protect your time, to help you focus, and to make your day more enjoyable.
That's pretty exciting. So it really seems like a data cloud like Snowflake really helps to power a platform like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very much at the core of what we do. I always describe it as a U-shaped flat platform. So we pull in data, we process it, we create insights out of it, we power automations with it, and we send it right back to you in its refined form. And how we do that right now is with Snowflake.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it really, I mean, the age-old saying of, there's data and then there's the information, the actionable data that you're able to take from that, right? And so it seems like a DevOps metrics platform like this is able to glean that information out and take action on it. So that's awesome. Can you tell me more and kind of show me a demo of this platform that you've built?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start with the bare bones of kind of what this whole thing is. So to demo how we built this on top of Snowflake, I'm going to walk you through the data flows, starting from how we pull data from our editor plugins, webhooks, third-party apps, and our own events. We publish all of that to a Kinesis collector. We're using Snowplow infrastructure for this. And we've got registered JSON schemas. We enrich that data, and then it goes into S3 files, which we then use Snowpipe from Snowflake to pull that in. And we're able to get events from the time that they occurred to being in Snowflake in less than a minute. And the average is about 20 seconds from event to it being able to be analyzed inside of Snowflake with this infrastructure. We also have a Snowflake loader for stuff that doesn't need to be real time. So everything that we collect goes into there, and that's every 15 minutes, which is still pretty quick. And from there, we've set up all of these events, and we're doing millions and millions a day that are coming in through these pipes and go into a big database split up into all these tables. And that powers two big things that we do here. One is a real-time, or as you see here, every 5-minute flow that can detect what we call our flow mode. So whenever a developer is in a highly productive state, we're able to detect that from the telemetry that we pull from the editor. And we call a Snowflake external function when we're processing this data to send that out to a Lambda that has our model that's built in-house. It processes that. If it detects a flow score above a certain threshold, it then calls another external function, which goes to a backend service and uses WebSockets to push updates to all the clients that have gone into flow mode. And what that allows you to do is mute Slack notifications, book time in your calendar. You can go full screen in your editor if you want. I actually have it to turn on one of my favorite Spotify playlists with Spotify controls. We can have it control lights, all sorts of automations that we can do with our code time extension and our editor ops extension. So it's like Slack ops or anything like that, but for your editor specifically. And in that same process, we push up-to-date telemetry stats to your code time dashboard, which you can access inside the editor. So you don't have to leave your primary workspace in order to get that data, and that's on the individual developer side. So lots of cool tools that we're able to power straight from Snowflake. And it was really fun to be able to build out all of these different external functions to hook all this together, because I didn't really see anyone else doing it. But I'm like, if I can do an API call to anywhere, then I can do anything. So yeah. I just kind of hooked it all together and made it work.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And a platform like this, it's really cool to see these like tangible examples, like the Slack do not disturb and calendar protect, and editor go full screen, right? So that's really cool to see. And I think it gives a clear, tangible, example of what this platform can do. When going through this, can we see a live demo of kind of how you would set this up?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we can switch over to Visual Studio Code. So we have extensions for VS Code, for Sublime, for IntelliJ and their whole family of editors, lots and lots of options. So wherever you're coding, we're probably there. And it installs for VS Code, a little extension here. You can click on that to see your code time. This is our dashboard that's here, and you can enter flow mode here. Or again, as you saw in the diagram, when you're coding, if you don't remember to go and click that button because you're actually coding and not focused on other stuff, it'll do that automatic detection for you and just eliminate distractions at the right moment for when you need it. So just to see how that works, you can just enter flow mode here manually. See that icon goes up there. For this webinar, of course, I've closed Slack, but it has muted my Slack notifications. It also puts a purple dot as my status so that people on my team can see that I'm in flow mode and know not to bother me. And that's really helpful as well. And in my calendar, if I opened it up, you would see that there's that meeting that I booked for just myself that protects code time. So no one's going to be booking time on my calendar for the next 30 minutes. And that's configurable depending on how long you want that to happen. And we can have it auto expire so it doesn't stay there forever. You can come back and then set custom statuses, all sorts of cool things. And then to look at what I talked about before, where I have it set up to play Spotify and
back from the depths.
It also says that whenever I come out of flow mode, so it's detected that I'm done and I've come back. So in the time that I was talking, the model just ran and decided that I wasn't actually coding at that moment and deactivated my flow mode so that communication can start flowing again.
That's
so it's
really about
powerful. Yeah. So whenever you enable flow mode here, I've got it to say it's code time, and then it tells Spotify to put on a specific album, and you can do all sorts of cool stuff with our editor ops extension.
It's exciting to see, how this level of automation and the data and the types of data that you're able to glean, right, to really improve developer productivity in this way, right? Can you talk about and explain how and why did you choose Snowflake to build this solution?
Yeah, so going back to here with our diagram, one of the things that I saw when I first joined software.com, which was 2 years ago, was we were loading all of this event data, and it's really detailed, into a traditional transactional database. We put some queuing in front to try to manage the process and to give the database time to actually ingest, but it wasn't scaling. And we're up to around 300,000 developers across the world using this platform, as well as several thousand using our organization-wide tools. And that kind of scale just wasn't happening with it. And we had a cluster of databases, we had managed services, we were trying everything to get that going. It just wasn't. So I had to rebuild it in order to go at the scale that we're at now. And we tried with a self-hosted sort of OLTP type database using a column store, and the ingestion was just the bottleneck of the whole thing. We would go too fast and it would fall over. And so, I'll go back on here to this setup. We tried for 3 months to get our other self-hosted databases up and running. And I had used Snowflake before at a previous job. I was the VP of engineering at Fair and scaled that organization up from, I was the first engineer to over 120 engineers. And, we had Snowflake on the back end there for kind of the traditional BI use cases that you would see. So I knew that it could scale. I knew it could handle terabytes of data. And it was just time. The 3 months that we had spent trying to get the other thing to work, it just wasn't bearing fruit. So I called up Snowflake, and actually within 3 days of our POC, I had our first Snowpipe running, and it has not stopped since. So I went from 3 months of effort to try to get our homegrown one to work to 3 days, and it was up. And from that point on, when you see that kind of success that fast, you don't turn back.
That's an awesome journey to go through. I mean, you've experienced what it was like before Snowflake, and so yeah, that's an awesome story. Can you talk about how has the features of Snowflake? I know you mentioned that you use external functions, right? Mm-hmm. What other features of Snowflake do you leverage when building with Snowflake?
Yeah, so to look at our organization data, we process a lot of data, we bring that in. So the fact that it can do highly parallel queries and process immense amounts of data continually and really quickly, and it's a cost-effective way to do it as well. We're able to build huge star schemas with all our facts and dimensions for all the organizations that have signed up with us, pre-build reporting tables, and we've got 2 use cases right now for the data shares. One where we have a vendor that's sharing data with us so that we can classify remote versus office work, which is really interesting research that we're doing right now on our data set. And we're starting to partner with a researcher at Carnegie Mellon to look at specific context switching costs for developers. And so a data share for them with an anonymized data set is what we're looking at for sharing with some academic partners. And that enables a lot of really fast, very secure data sharing without a lot of work on either side.
I'm glad that you mentioned data sharing. I mean, it really is a game changer when you can eliminate the need for an API wrapper just to access data, right? And if the whole purpose is to interact with, query, and access data, utilizing a data share is a powerful way to do that. So it's interesting that you mentioned that. So from here, what is next? What 6 months, 1 year down the road, what can developers and your customers get excited about, and down the road?
Yeah, so I mean, looking at what we're doing with our system-wide data, plus what you just saw for the automations, It's really going to be bringing those two things together. So we're able to show you high level how well you're delivering your code to either the default branch or all the way to production. If we've got trackable releases, we can show you the lead time per stage. We can show you how your code's converting through that, where you're spending your time, and lots of details in all of that. The thing to look forward to is, from these high level metrics and these overview sort of viewpoints, being able to influence and help individual developer behavior in a very passive way, because we're not trying to control anything. We're trying to suggest and let people know best practices, is that we'll be able to save developers time. We'll be able to suggest specific actions at the right time based on the individual data stream, based on the organization data stream. So the individual behaviors can be impacted and influenced in a way that improves the overall metrics. And so it's not just another data platform that you just look at and then you decide what to do. This is something that can power discrete experiences that learn from and then impact these overall metrics.
I love that. I mean, I love that the fact that it's able to take this automated action, right? I mean, you showed it right there in the demo of, really blocking out those distractions, things like that. And, having increased productivity is one of those things where it has real tangible value to the business, right? And so this is a really, really cool solution that you've built. And I love the fact that it's built on Snowflake. So from here, if people want to learn more about software.com and the solution that you've built, where should they go?
Yeah, so go to software.com. You can see all of the metrics that we gather there, and you can onboard and see your own metrics in less than 10 minutes as well. So if you kind of look at the infrastructure that we had built and how the data can come in so fast, we can show you your overview in the first 10 minutes after you've signed up. And you're able to dive into details about your lead time. You can see your GitHub actions, customize your dashboards, and also monitor to see when your pull request review time is going up. You can send out an alert to Slack channel or to emails, all sorts of things that we're starting to build out. So come and check us out at software.com and start to empower your teams with DevOps metrics.
Perfect. And Mason, I want to say thank you for joining me today. This has been another episode of Powered by Snowflake. And if you're looking to build your next application on Snowflake, check out developers.snowflake.com. Thanks.